came out. I wasn't expecting it to come out this good since I'm starting to experiment with brushing calligraphy on wood. To give you a couple points, couple tips on how I did this. First, I used a pine board for this calligraphy, very cheap pine board. I chose a cheap board because I didn't know how it was going to turn out, so I didn't want to spend too much money on the wood itself. And I sanded the wood first, sanded until so that the surface was completely smooth. And I did that thinking that the ink might bleed too much if it wasn't sanded. So the ink did bleed, but a little bit, and it doesn't really bother me, especially when you look at it from a distance. You can't really see the fuzziness of the ink bleeding into the wood. So I was really happy about that. After the Sumi ink dried on the wood, I let it dry overnight. I went ahead and stained the wood on both sides. I stained it on the back and I stained it on the front. And I used a golden pecan tint for this, and for a couple of reasons. I didn't want it to be too dark because I didn't want the Sumi ink to be lost if the wood was too brown. And then this tint gives it like this orangey brown look to the pine board, which I was pretty happy about that. One thing to be careful about this, and I realized that afterwards, was that the wood stain would make the stamp bleed. And you see it happen here a little bit when I was brushing the stain off the wood, because you're supposed to apply it and let it sit for 5 minutes and then brush off the extra. It did make the stamp, the ink on the paste from the stamp kind of brushed off. And I think that was because the wood stain is made out of oil, and so is the paste for the ink stamp. So I think that's what it made it kind of run through. So I gotta be careful when you dry the stamps. You can't just brush it off. You sort of have to pat it down very gently. Then I let the stain dry overnight again, and then the next day I sprayed the wood with a couple coats of spray lacquer. And I did that because I was thinking about hanging this board outside my house somewhere, and I wanted to make sure that it was weatherproof. If you're thinking about playing around and brushing calligraphy on wood too, I'm going to be posting a bunch of other videos of what my experience is on my experimentation on brushing calligraphy on wood, because this is totally a new field for me. I have another video that I'm working on when I carved the calligraphy right on the wood. This one just was brushing the calligraphy on the wood, but I've been kind of fooling around with carving, and I'm not a woodworker, so this is a whole new world for me, which is driving me crazy. So I hope you like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos about Japanese calligraphy that I have coming up in the future. Also, if you haven't checked out my website, the link is down below. It's learnshoto.com. If you're interested in learning the basic of Japanese calligraphy, I have my Intro to Japanese Calligraphy online course opening soon this spring. So if you want to learn the basics and the fundamentals of Japanese calligraphy, head down the link down below, sign up for it, and I'll send you an email pretty soon when the enrollment opens. So anyway, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.